Hi, I'm Timothy Dalton. I'm asking for your support in my bid to become the next Benton County Commissioner for District 2. I believe the top priority of the Benton County Commission should be building partnerships for public health, mental health, public infrastructure for economic development, and supporting our regional law enforcement organizations. I believe we have some major issues ahead of us if we are going to provide sustainable growth for the next 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. And I want to be part of the team that comes to the table to make those a reality. We're looking at a number of issues like the county seat. I'm a certified Main Street manager through the National Trust for Historic Preservation, so I understand the historic significance of the county seat and the county courthouse in Prosser for the Prosser downtown revitalization effort. But I also understand from a business perspective that we have to provide facilities that are easily accessible for the majority of the county citizens. If this includes moving the courthouse, this is something we need to take a look at. But this is going to be an issue for the voters to decide. My goal, if elected as commissioner, to make sure it happens as cost efficiently as possible. We need to be looking at public health. We need to make sure that our public health dollars are going into providing services for the residents of Benton County and not building a building or paying for a building. We need to make sure that our employees, our nurses that are operating in the public health have the tools necessary to do the jobs that they need to do. We need to be looking at mental health. You know, for years we've talked about consolidation of the mental health services, adding everything together. And it's time to stop talking about it and to do something about it. We need to be looking at maybe it's time to create public-private partnerships and outsource some of these jobs to other physician care groups in the area that might be better suited to handle some of this. We need to be looking at economic development. City of Prosser lost 250 jobs. We need to make sure that we're working to not only recruit new businesses into the area, but working to be able to retain the businesses that we have and to make sure that these jobs stay within Benton County. These are important aspects of this county and the tax base it provides to the county. We need to be looking at agriculture. District 2 is a heavily agricultural district, but we need to be looking at how do we enhance the value-added agriculture, the wine industry, some of these jobs that are very labor-intensive, that provides a solid tax base for the community. You know, that's where we need to be looking, but we need to be making sure that our economic development partners have the tools they need to do the job, to not only recruit but retain the companies that they bring here. And we're talking Port of Benton, Port of Kennewick, Prosser EDA, Benton City ADA, we're talking Tridec, we're talking we have to be looking at cross-geographical boundaries. I want to work not only for District 2, but all of Benton County. But we need to make sure that District 2 has sustainable economic development for the citizens of it. We need to be looking at law enforcement. We need to be making sure that we're not cutting law enforcement at a critical time. Last year, the budget, they cut $400,000 from juvenile justice. We need to make sure that we're providing maximum input for the law enforcement and also building partnerships and going after grants that the Sheriff's Department, enables them to do the job that they need to do. We need to be looking at renewable energy as a viable economic base for this area. We need to be pushing the state to push the national government to recognize hydroelectric power as a renewable energy source. But not only that, we need to be looking them also to promote nuclear power as a viable source of energy. And I'm not talking the old school nuclear plants. I'm talking European nuclear plants that are very safe, very sustainable, and are producing power on a cost-effective basis. We need to be looking at, as Tri-City Visitor and Convention Bureau says, we have 300 days of sunshine a year. We need to be looking at solar power in this area and some of the alternative uses for it. Infineon with the Sterling Motors. Those are great companies that provide jobs for this area and will provide economic growth for it. But we're also talking the wind power. We have a great region for doing a lot of biotech work and just, a lot of viable energy sources that we need to be exploring all options. We need to be looking at water management throughout the area. We need to be looking at the Yakima River Basin Water Enhancement Program. Water storage is going to be a key issue over the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. But more important, what we have to be able to do is make sure when we're working on this, we're working on viable projects, not projects that really don't have potential to ever come to the table and play a viable role in our water management program. We need to be looking at our urban growth plan, our comp plan for the area. We need to make sure that as cities annex in areas of the county and they want to expand their urban growth area, that they have the necessary ability to do that, that they're not overtaxing their law enforcement, their fire departments, the county fire departments in the process of this. And the other area is the public utilities, that they can sustain the growth as it comes about, that they're doing this in a planned strategic method that is really beneficial to the county. I have a business degree from Washington State University with emphasis in information systems and human resource management that makes me a strong candidate for to be the next Benton County Commissioner for District 2. And I want to bring these knowledge, skills, and ability to the table. This is in addition to my experience in both the private sector and the nonprofit. As an executive level director for an organization, I've been able to grow an organization, and if you talk to people that see what's been done in downtown Kennewick and the strides that it's made in economic development and just the whole revitalization process, these are some of the skills I want to bring to county. I want, if you have questions about who is Timothy Dalton, go to my website, votefordalton.com, and really talk to people who I've worked with, the partnerships that I've built, and just some of the things that I've been able to bring to the table in a variety of projects for the enhancement, creating a sense of community. And that's what I want to do as a Benton County Commissioner. I want to create a sense of community, and I want to bring a new perspective to the Commission. Thank you for your support.